joining us.
Gang's back. Let's go.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
We don't know how long we can keep saying
Larry
Happy
David
New Year.
says January 3rd. It's the last day you could say Happy New Year to somebody.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I think it's the first full week. I think
today?
it gets 7 days.
Yeah.
So the
Next
days.
week, maybe not. Although it's a nice greeting. Hey, Happy New Year.
Yeah, if you don't see someone for a while and then you see him the first
Not that
time
Larry
this
David's
year.
the authority about it, but he did a bit about
He's
it.
my
Got a lot of rules.
That's all right.
A lot of rules. So the Warren Police Commissioner is calling for tougher penalties on people who run from police because dashcam video releases video of this deadly chase involving officers. Charlie is here with more on this. Really a lot to be talked about with this. It seems like a problem that's been going on forever, Charlie.
Well, I think we have to break it down, first of all. So this was as I understand the facts here, this is in Warren. You can see the video there of someone that was pulled over for an expired license plate, some relatively minor violation. The officers asked the guy for a license. He didn't have it, and then boom, he takes off. Goes from roughly Van Dyke to 10 Mile and Rhine. It's about 4 or 5 miles or so. It's a decent little run. And the police chase him. Then this guy blows a red light. I don't think we're going to show it, but then he gets killed because he runs into a box truck.
Yeah.
Okay. So the issue is, should the police have pursued him? Now, there's no law on police pursuits. There's nothing that the legislature said we need a law on this. There are, however, police policies, and they differ in every jurisdiction. Detroit's a little different than the state police. Warren is a little different. Some departments are a little more aggressive than others in pursuing. So if it's a misdemeanor or a minor traffic, many departments do not pursue it because it is dangerous. You can hurt someone or yourself or whatever. If it's a felony, though, if the person's being charged or suspected of a felony, many departments do pursue. In this case, it was not a felony, no question. So in some cities, the cops would not have pursued. In Warren, they take the position that, yes, we want to pursue. So that's really how it breaks down. And I think what the commissioner is talking about is that we don't want to, if the cops take the position we're not going to pursue, we don't want to tip off the criminals that, well, if you just run away, maybe you can, if you stole the car, they'll never find you. And we don't want that. And I think that's what the commissioner's probably talking about, because it is a felony to flee and elude a police officer. It's a felony. So this guy
gets pulled over for a misdemeanor, but it becomes a felony?
It does become a felony if you run from the police. It's called fleeing and eluding. It's a felony. But the policies, though, you have to be accused of the felony before the fleeing and eluding.
Right.
So that's kind of how that breaks down. I don't see.
But the law is there. What he's asking for tougher penalties. It's already a felony.
It is. I know. I don't know what he really wants. I think he wants to discourage people from fleeing the cops. I think that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
But you've got a felony there. A lot of departments, though, do not pursue unless it's a felony, though. If you're wanted for murder and we pull you over on a traffic violation, but we got to, hey, you were a suspect matching description who just killed someone.
Maybe it's different from city to city, but if someone is injured, someone who is not involved in this police chase, whose responsibility is that? What happens then?
So that's a different question, but a good question, though. So in this case, unfortunately, the suspect was killed.
Right.
But let's assume the suspect ran over someone, or the police ran over someone, a third party. I would say some smart civil lawyers are going to sue the cops. Yeah. Probably for violating maybe a policy, or because of gross negligence. Now, again, you gotta, because they have immunity. You can't sue cops for anything. They have immunity. However, it's a qualified immunity, meaning if the cops are so outrageous, if they're going 100 miles an hour through streets with little kids playing, I'd say that's gross negligence. Right. This was a pretty fast pursuit.
That's how we landed on low-speed pursuits, though, right? Is that to protect innocent bystanders from getting hurt in these police chases.
I think the presumption today is that police do not pursue. Yeah. That's kind of the presumption. Again, it's officer discretion. What are the road conditions? Is it snowing and icy? Is it a murder or a minor traffic? But you have to take, and again, it's officer's discretion. Bottom line, if you get pulled over by a cop, deal with it. Don't start running, because you're going to increase your chances of more crimes, or in this case, unfortunately.
Yeah,
death.
that's too bad. All right, we'll take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about this Jeffrey Epstein. The list of names has come out, and talk about what that means.
All right, good.
We'll be right back.
Previously sealed court documents relating to a lawsuit linked to Jeffrey Epstein now public. Those pages including names of politicians, celebrities, high-profile business people. Charlie Langton with more. Charlie, what can you tell us about this list? Apparently, you could challenge the court.
Yes.
Whether or not you will fight, whether your name comes out, and not everybody did that.
No, I don't think any of them did. Like Bill Clinton, whose name was on the list. Prince Andrew's name was on the list. The magician right there, David Copperfield was on the list. That's Epstein right there. But no one challenges. So judges seal records for a lot of different reasons. There's a presumption we don't want to seal records. Everything in court should be open, and that's kind of a big deal. However, in certain cases, really civil cases like involving money or proprietary interest or something that's personal, that if the secret recipe got out of the whatever, we don't want that if there was a dispute of that. So we seal records. And in sex cases where these are innocent people, I looked at the list that I read. I didn't read the 900 pages of this stuff, but no one was accused. Now, Prince Andrew may have put a hand on a breast. I think it was an allegation made, but nevertheless, no one of the people on the list that I found was ever sued or accused.
Yeah.
What is the list of? Who are these names? Just people he associated with?
Yes, yes. Okay. Because it was from
flight records, right?
Like deposition records, all different records for a couple of other lawsuits that he was involved in, mostly civil stuff.
Why are they being released now? These names?
The judge set a date because we don't want to keep these things forever. Unfortunately, Jeffrey Epstein's dead, and so we don't keep records forever and ever. They can be released. In the judge's wisdom, decided it's about 2 years. I think this was 19. So what are we in? This is 2000, so 5 years. Okay. So they kept him under seal for about 5 years.
What responsibility I guess people have when you mention this list? It's almost assumed that they did something wrong.
Yeah.
And I haven't read all 900 pages either. But for example, Copperfield, they asked a question about who performed at this, and he did a magic trick. So he's not being accused of having done something wrong. President Trump's name mentioned on the list, and they said, was Donald Trump involved? The person said no. So it seems like then, respectfully, then you don't say President Trump. You don't say Michael Jackson. You don't say, these are just people who I guess were around, but not accused of doing anything. But now they're tied to this.
But remember, Jeffrey Epstein, he was charged with sex trafficking. He never went to trial because he killed himself before trial. But anyway, that was he was accused of this. It's a bad crime. So, I mean, if you're a friend of his and in documents, yeah, it's kind of guilt by association. A lot of times, John Doe, we don't do it. Even on indictments, on criminal cases, we list the main person, but John Doe 1, John Doe 2, we don't want to identify names sometimes for a lot of reasons. And the other thing is we don't want to poison the jury either. So if this is, remember, again, the jury may be turned up. Bill Clinton. Yeah. These are political people that are divisive anyway. Even in Donald Trump, they're both on the list. So in and of themselves, they could taint the jury, perhaps. So we just limit them.
You mentioned guilt by association. It's almost like if Joni and Chachi are married. Yeah. Chachi's out there committing all these murders.
Yeah.
Joni, you don't know that Chachi's out there committing these murders. It's almost like that, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
where the people on this list, they're going to his island, they see what's going on there. You don't know what's going on here, kind of thing, right? Is that kind of what it's like?
Donald Trump said, I knew Jeffrey Epstein like everybody in Palm Beach knew Mr. Epstein. So there's a lot of reasons for sealing, although the presumption is let everything out. But there are certain things we want to keep under seal.
One of the women on this list apparently asked for it to be redacted because she said she is from a very conservative country, and being associated with Jeffrey Epstein could be deadly for her.
Absolutely.
It could have terrible ramifications.
And was she sealed?
So
did they keep her sealed?
I believe her name is still redacted from
the judge. The judge said you could file a motion with the court, which is interesting. So if Donald Trump, for example, wanted to file a motion,
but that's not a good look, though.
Right.
Which is why probably a lot of people didn't. It almost makes you look guilty.
Worse.
It'd have to be well, we may not know it's Donald Trump, maybe John Doe, and then when you get to court, the judge has to have a closed hearing of some kind. Again, we don't like closed hearings, we don't like seals, but there are certain times when it is appropriate, and this is probably one of those times.
Right.
So,
let it rip tonight.
Let it rip tonight. We're going to have the chief on. Chief White's going to talk about the crime stats in the city of Detroit. Homicide, the lowest level since 1966. And then we're going to have the chair of the Michigan Republican Party, Katrina Karamo. She'll be on the show talking about some issues with the Republican Party in Michigan, which is... There's some controversy there.
There is some controversy.
There is some
10:30 tonight.
I don't even have a Sharpie or a marker to give you.
Nothing on this one.
My goodness.
It should be interesting.
All right,
Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.